that, because I wasn't given anything particular to talk about.
No, you got a book. Talk about that.
Yes, well, yeah, I can always talk about the books. Okay, so I'm officially here as Benjamin Tate, and because of the new book, Well of Sorrows, and the book came out this past Tuesday. It's the start of a new trilogy. Dawes already bought book 2 and book 3, and I'm working on them at the moment, 5 chapters into book 2, which is not far enough at this point because it's due in September, which means I got to get a lot of writing done between now and September. But so this is the new baby. I do have some older children. Okay, the older children, the 3 probably most common ones that you'll find are the Throne of Amarcord trilogy. So it's the Skewed Throne, the Cracked Throne, and then the Vacant Throne. Okay, they all originally came out in hardcover and are now available in paperback. The hardcovers are out of print, but if you're interested in them, I have copies at home, so you can just email me or whatever. We can work something out. The paperbacks you can still get. I didn't notice any on the shelf. I don't really remember looking all that hard. But in general, the borders can special order them. Okay, so they should be readily available. The cool thing about the Throne books is that they were also sold in Germany, and they're being translated into German editions. And the German editions have much better covers. Okay, the Skewed Throne was translated and retitled in German to be Die Assassine, which is not actually a German word. It's you would think it would mean the assassin, but that's not true. In the Throne series, I have these characters that are called Seekers, and essentially they're royal assassins. They're assassins that are trained, and then they're sent out to kill people by essentially the queen of the city. And this is the German word for seekers. Okay, they came up with a new word for seekers. So it's based on assassin, obviously, but it's not actually a German word. And then the Cracked Throne, the second book, is out as well. It's called Die Regentin, which basically means the regent. Cover's much much nicer. This is much more reflective of what the books are about than the American covers, because that's the main character, whose name is Varys, and she in book 1 starts off in the slums and is trained to be an assassin. Okay, so you get the idea of that, I think, in the cover there. Okay, and then of course her adventures continue in book 2, and book 3 isn't quite out yet. It's coming out in June in Germany, and it has the best cover by far out of the 3. So I just brought these just to sort of make you ooh over them, hopefully, because I love them. I love the covers.
Make us wish we could read German.
Yeah, exactly. I took German, but I can't read German. Okay, and then the last thing I'll mention is Joshua Palmatier also has a short story in the recently released anthology called Close Encounters of the Urban Kind. It's from Apex. I don't know if Borders can get Apex or not, but the publisher's Apex. And the idea of this anthology was to take some urban legend and give it some kind of alien twist. And you could do an urban legend that everybody knows. You could do a local urban legend. You could make up your own urban legend and do an alien twist on that, whatever.
That would be fun.
Yeah, which some people did. I didn't want to do one that everybody already knew. I wanted to do one that most people didn't know about. So I live in Binghamton, New York, and so I took a local boogeyman legend from Binghamton, and I added a little alien twist to it. And so my story is called Masihuba, and it's going under the Joshua Palmatier name. And it's just a cool little boogeyman story, and so if you're interested in alien twists on urban legends, then I suggest you check out Close Encounters of the Urban Kind from Apex. So that's my spiel. That's what I've got out at the moment. I've got 3 contracts signed for books from Daw, so there's 3 more books coming. And I'm going to edit an anthology for Daw, which is going to be based on a bar. We're going to call it the Bar, and the whole idea is the bar kind of jumps around in time. So and the bartender at the bar is Gilgamesh.
Okay.
And so all of the stories are set in the bar in different places and different time periods, and Gilgamesh is featured in all of them as well. He might not be a main character; he may just be mentioned. But all the stories revolve around the bar because everybody loves bars, especially writers. So that's coming out, and then Ben Tate's got a story in that anthology, and Joshua Palmatier is editing it, and so that was an easy sale. Um, and then what else is coming out? Oh, there's a short story out that should be out in another anthology from I think Apex in the future. So that's my big thing. The new baby is Well of Sorrows. So let me talk about Well of Sorrows a little bit more. About halfway through the Throne trilogy, it crossed my mind that it would be cool if you basically did a take on the American West, but not cowboys and Indians and stuff, but you did a take on it settling the West, but in a fantasy setting. So in this particular book, what we have a newly discovered continent across the ocean. Okay, they've settled the coast. Okay, so the nation that discovered it has settled the coast, but they haven't explored the interior. So at the beginning of this book, we have some refugees from the original continent, and they've landed in the new continent. They haven't found a place to fit in, essentially, and so they're sort of forced out into the plains. So you basically have the main character. His name is Colin. He's a young boy who was going to be a carpenter, and now he's been forced by his parents to go to this new continent, and he hates his parents because he doesn't like the new continent, and he's not accepted there, and blah, blah, blah. And they head out into the plains, completely into the unknown, which is also something I wanted to do in a fantasy novel. Because if you think about all the fantasy novels that you read, typically, even if the main character doesn't know what the current culture is or how the society works or anything like that, they're usually paired up with somebody who does. So I wanted to just have them go blindly out into nowhere, essentially. And so that's what I do in this book. At the beginning of this book, they go blindly out into the plains. They don't have any idea what they're going to discover. They discover some really cool things and some beautiful things. And then, of course, since I'm a writer, they discover some really horrible things as well. So the whole point is, do they survive? And along the way, like the little tagline says, will the power of the well bring peace to the war-torn continent, the new continent, okay, or total devastation? Along the way, they find the well. And the well could be good or bad. It's not inherently evil, but it completely changes. Once they discover the well, it completely changes everything about the continent and about how people on this continent are gonna react. So that's why it's called Well of Sorrows. This does not end on a downer. Okay, it's just how when they discover the well, it's pretty nasty. So that's where the Well of Sorrows comes from. Okay, and so Colin's the main character, and he basically grows up around the well. And one of the things I'm playing around with a lot in this book is time. So a lot of the magic that you see in this book deals with aspects of time and playing around with time in essence. So I do that quite a bit in this book. So that's the new baby, and then we've got the old ones, and I got some bling. Okay, I don't have major bling, but I've got some Well of Sorrows magnets, so I can pass those around. And then I've got postcards as well, so I'll start passing those around. If you want to take one. Okay, otherwise just pass it on. I have
never have too many
postcards for all of the books, all 4 of the books. So if you want to know something about one particular book, just search out that postcard. Okay, there's little descriptions on the back. Okay.
Excellent.
So there's that.
Okay. Around and grab them last.
And at this point, I would like to open it up to questions, although I kind of think I know what the first question is going to be. Yes?
That's not what the first question is.
What? What's the question?
You said that the Well of Sorrows has a happy ending. I was wondering if, you like to give away the endings to all your books, and if so, do they all have happy endings?
Well, I don't remember saying it had a happy ending.
You said it didn't
end on a downer.
It didn't have a
downer ending,
which is not the same thing.
Yeah, which is not the same thing.
Right.
So I wouldn't say I ever leave my characters in perfect places. So I like to